Sorry for this inconveniences, right? My camera was stopped. So now let's continue with the question 5. Okay, let's continue with the question 5. Then I add 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 to that. Okay, so sorry for that. All right, so let's deal with the question 5. All right, so if you watched the last video with the question 5, I was quoting the formula for the cost price. Sorry, for the selling price. So we say that the selling price must be equal to 100% plus the profit percent, all on what 100%, then times my what my cost price, right? So times my cost price. So this one is what profit percent for what I did. Then now let's see if they give you the loss percent. What will be the formula you have to put? So now here the loss percent. My loss percent, if I want my selling price must be equal to my 100%. Then this one, because it is loss, we use what? Minus. So minus my L percent, all on my what? 100%. Then times my what? My cost price. Times my cost price. So kindly take note of that. It is very, very important. Then now here, if you want the cost price here, it will be what? 100%. This one will come to the numerator, then this one will go to the denominator. All on my 100% minus my loss percent, then times my selling price. So this is what we will be using. All right. But this time around, they said we should find for the cost price. So we'll be changing one or two things here, right? So that's that. Let's see. So let's see. I want my cost price. So first of all, my profit percent is equal to what? 10, right? Then my selling price here, my selling price equals 44 Ghana cedis here. My selling price equals 44 Ghana cedis. Then I'm finding for the cost price here. So the cost price, which must be equal to 100%, all on what? 100% plus my profit percent, then times my selling price. So let's use SP, right? So my cost price is equal to my 100%, all on my 100% plus my profit percent, which is 10%, is equal to, times my selling price, which is 44 Ghana cedis. So which is 44 Ghana cedis. So my cost price must be equal to 100 over 100 plus 10. So 100 plus 10, which we get 110, times, let's eliminate what's the currency here, the currency sign. So we just write 44. So 0 cancels what? 0, right? Then now 11 into itself 1, then into 44 4 times. So I have my cost price, which is equal to 10 times my 4. So my cost price must be equal to 40 Ghana cedis. My cost price is what? 40 Ghana cedis. So if you check, you get what? Option D for question 5. Option D for question 5. Option D for question 5. So kindly watch it carefully. All right, let's move on to question 6. Question 6. Question 6. Question 6. Question 6. In question 6, we have simplify. Simplify 1 whole 1 on 5 divided by 2 whole number 1 on 10. So, solution, how best can we simplify this? So, this one, they are all mixed numbers or mixed fractions, right? Mixed fraction contains what? A whole number, then a fraction, which is what? A proper fraction, right? So now, then I have to change this mixed fraction to what? To an improper fraction. How do we change that? We have to multiply the divisor by what? A whole number. Then the result we get, we multiply it by what? The numerator or the dividend. So now we get my 5 times 1, then plus 1, then divided by 5. Then we have our division sign. Then we have 10 times 2 plus 1, all on what? 10. So 5 times 1, we get 5 plus 1 on 5. Then divided by 10 times 2, we get 20 plus 1 on 10. So 5 plus 1, you get 6 on 5 divided by 21 on 10. Right. So now here, we are dealing with what? The division sign here. So now we have to change this division sign to what? Multiplication sign. Then as soon as we do that, then we have to what? Take the reciprocal of this fraction, that's 21 over 10, which turns what? Out to be what? 10 over what? 21. So we get 6 on 5 times 10 on 21. Right. So now we've changed the division sign to what? Multiplication sign. Then we've taken the reciprocal of, we reciprocate this fraction to be what? 10 on what? 21. Right. So now here, we can, multiplication, it permits us to what? To cancel like that, diagonal, right? But addition, you can't cancel like that. For addition, you can cancel what? Vertically. Addition, you can cancel vertically. My friend, don't cancel horizontally. You don't do that. Right. Alright. So now here I can say that 3 goes here 2 times. Then 3 goes into 21 7 times. Right. Then 5 goes here 1. Then into 10, which is what? 2. So we have this. So I can still write it as what? 2 on 1. Then times 2 on what? 7. Right. So still multiplication of fraction. Multiplication of fraction, we do not find LCM. We do not find LCM. Addition, subtraction, we find LCM. Multiplication of fraction, we do not find LCM. Multiply their dividend, which is what? The numerators, then also multiply their denominators, which is what? Their divisors. So I get 2 times 2 all on 1 times 7. Then 2 times 2, which produce 4. Then 1 times 7, which we obtain what? 7. So this is our answer, 4 over 7, which is a proper fraction. Why? Because the denominator is always greater than what? The numerator, or the numerator is always less than the denominator. So we can say that option A. Option A. Alright, can you kindly watch it very carefully? Alright, so let's proceed with question 7. The volume of a cylinder is 40 pi cm cubed. If the height of the cylinder is 10 centimeters, find the base radius. The volume of a cylinder is 40 pi cm cubed. If the height of the cylinder is 10 centimeters, find the base radius. So let's assume that we have a cylinder. A typical example of a cylinder is a meal tin or a milk tin, right? So we have this. So we have the volume. So let's say the amount of water this cylinder can hold, or the capacity is the volume, right? Which is expressed as what? It's giving us as 40 pi cm cubed. So inside we have 40 pi cm cubed. Now, if the height of the cylinder, so that's the height of the cylinder, which is what? 10 centimeters. Find the base radius. We are going to look for the base radius. Now, this radius, we are going to find that radius here. We know that the base of a cylinder, they are all what? Circles, right? So this one, circle, circle. So it has what? Two circles. But we are talking of this base radius, right? So that's a base. The base is a circle. So that's a radius, right? So now let's see. How do we find for the volume of a cylinder? The volume of a cylinder is equal to pi r squared h, which means the area of a circle times what? The height, right? The area of a circle. You find for the area of that circle times what? The height. The area of a circle can also be expressed as 1 on 4 pi d squared, where d is the what? Is the diameter. So you can use that one to solve. You get the same answer. The area of a circle can also be what? 1/4 pi r 1/4 pi d squared. Sorry, 1/4 pi d squared. So now let's see. For the volume of a cylinder is what? 40 pi cm cubed, which is equal to, we know our pi. The pi 22 on 7. By you, let's see. Let's write the same thing as pi here. Then times our r squared, then times our h. Our h is given to us as what? 10 centimeters. Right. So now let's see. I can divide here by pi, also by pi. Right. Okay, so now let's proceed. So I have my 40, let's say pi, divided by pi equals pi times r squared times 10 divided by pi. So this one cancels, this one also cancels. Right. So I have my 40 equals r squared times my 10. Right. I can also divide here by 10. Then here also by what? 10. Right. So this one cancels, then this one too cancels. So I get r squared, which is equal to 4 on 1. And 4 divided by 1, which is what? 4. So I have my r squared, which is equal to what? 4. Right. So what do? We want r, not r squared. So we have to take the square root on both sides of the equation. So square root of what? R squared equals what? Square root of 4. So I have r, which is equal to what? 2. So I have my 2, let's say 2 centimeters, because the unit given to us is what? Centimeters. So we use 2 centimeters. So therefore, the base radius of what? The cylinder is what? 2 centimeters. And this is option D. Option D. Very, very simple. Very, very simple. So always volume of a cylinder is equal to what? Pi r squared h, which is the area of a circle, then times the height. Or I said we can use what? 1/4 pi d squared. Then we multiply that by what? H. You can also use this one. Use it. Alright. So watch it carefully. Alright, so let's move on to this. Question 8. The longest chord of a circle is there. The longest chord of a circle. So we have sector, segment, circumference, and diameter. The longest chord. You know that a chord is a line. It's a line. A chord is a line. So take note of that. A chord is a line. You understand that? Alright. So a chord is a line. But it does not pass through the diameter. So take note. This one is a chord. So this one is a chord. That's a chord. A line joining 2 points on the what? On the circumference of the circle. So this one is then as a what? As a chord. And this shaded portion here, the shaded portion here will be what? A minor segment. A minor segment. A minor segment. So that's what? A segment. A minor segment. So a minor segment or a segment is an area. It's an area. A segment is not a line. So those who chose segment, we are wrong. And a sector too is not a line. A sector too is what? Is an area here. This one is a sector. So that's, let's say, minor sector, because it's the smaller portion. Then this one tends to be what? The major sector. So this one too is not a line. Right? This one is a portion or is an area. It's an area here. Alright. So we have a segment, a sector. They are all wrong. Circumference. Circumference is the total distance around what? A circle. So that one too, you are wrong. But the answer is what? Diameter. A diameter. And what's a diameter? A diameter is a chord. A diameter is a chord. Or we can see that a diameter is a line. Since a diameter is a chord and a chord is a line, then we can say that a diameter too is what? It's a line. So this one is the transitive property here, right? A diameter is a chord. And what is a chord? A chord is a line. Then we can say that what? A diameter to what? Is a line. So a diameter is a line that passes through what? The center of the circle. So we join what? 2 points. So let's say alpha then what? Beta. Right? It joins what? 2 points on the circumference of a circle. But make sure that it passes through the center. So let's say center O. Right? And it divides the circle into 2 equal halves. It divides the circle into 2 equal halves. Or it divides the circle into 2 equal parts. But a chord divides what? A circle into 2 parts, not equal. Right? So that's the difference. The difference. A chord is a line. A diameter too is a line. But a diameter is a chord. A chord can never and never will it be what? A diameter. A chord can never be what? A diameter. Why? Because it does not pass through the center of that circle. So the longest chord of a circle is is the diameter. That's the diameter. Alright, so you kindly watch it carefully. Alright, so let's move on to question 9. Which says if x equals b squared minus 4ac all on 2a, find x when a equals to b equals -4 and c equals what? -2. So this one is what? Substitution. Very, very simple. But take notes with the negative. It's very, very, very serious. So take notes when you are dealing with negatives. So I have my x, which must be equal to, this one is b, and which is squared. And what is b? -4. So take the -4, I bring my bracket, then I square that, right? Then -4 times my a, which is 2, then times my c, which is -2, all on my 2 times my a, which is +2, right? So I have my x, which is equal to -4 all squared means what? -4 times -4. Then still, let's see, -4 times 2 times my -2. All on, let's say, 2 times 2. Right. So I have my x, which is equal to -4 times -4. We obtain +16 because negative times negative is what? Positive. Then here we have -4 times 2, which gives what? -8. And -8 times -2, which gives what? +16. All on 2 times 2, which is what? 4. So I have my x, which is equal to 16 plus 16, which we obtain 32, all on 4, right? So now let's see. X equals 4 goes into 32 how many times? You know your 4 times table. 4, 1, 4, 4, 2, 8, 4, 3, 4, 4, 4, 16, 4, 5, 20, 4, 6, 24, 4, 7, 28, 4, 8. Then you move on to what? 32. So your answer is what? 8. So then that means the value of x, or x is what? 8. X is 8. So which is option D? Option D. Option D. So kindly watch it carefully. Option D. Alright, so let's move on to our last question for this tutorials. Question 10. The ratio of farmers to children in a village is 13 to 11. The ratio of farmers to children in a village is 13 to 11. If there were 312 farmers in the village, how many children were there? This time around, we can use 2 methods in solving this, which is very, very simple. So now let's see the ratio of farmers to children. So let's see farmers ratio, which is what? 13. Then children's ratio, which is what? 11. So now we can find for our total ratio here. Our total ratio will be 13 plus 11, which we get 24, right? 3 plus 1, we get 4, then 1 plus 1, we get 2, right? So that's. Then now, they've given us the total or the number of farmers in the village. So the number of farmers, which is what? 312. So the number of farmers in the village. Now, we don't know the number of children. We don't know the number of children here, which is, let's say, y here. Now, you can solve this one using proportion. Proportion is an equation which makes what? Two ratios be what? Equal. It's an equation which makes what? Two ratios equal. So we can use proportion. So using proportion to solve this. So now let's see. You can say that ratio of farmers to what? The number of what? The number of farmers. So let's write farmers ratio. So farmers ratio to children's ratio, which must be equal to, or you let me do it like this. Farmers ratio to, let's say, number of farmers here. So number of farmers. You can do it like this. Number of farmers, which must be equal to children's ratio to the number of children. Right? So now farmers ratio, which is 13, to number of farmers, which is what? 312, which must be equal to children's ratio, which is what? 11, to number of children. We represented it by what? Y. So we have that. So now we can say that what? Extreme, then we can use what? Mean. So we have our extreme, then mean. So which means 13 multiplies y, which must be equal to 11 multiplies 312. Right. So we divide both sides by 13. So I have my 13 times y divided by 13, which is equal to 11 times 312 divided by 13. Then I get my y, which is equal to. So now let's see. Can 13 go into 312 exactly? Yes. So now let's see. 13 out, 312 in. So 13 cannot go into 3 exactly. 13 cannot go into 3 at all because 13 is greater than 3, right? So we add the 1, which means we're 31, right? So 13 goes into 31 how many times? So let's see. 13 times 2, we obtain 26. 13 times 3, we obtain what? 39. So we use 2, right? Then 2 times 3, which is what? 26. So now we subtract, which is 11 here. 6 from 11, we get 5, right? We get 5. So now here, can 13 go into 5? No. So we drop this value, which is 2, right? 13 into 52, how many times? Let's see, 13 times 39, 13 times 4, which is what? 52. Because 4 times 3 here is 12. We carry 1, 4, 1, 4 plus 1, 5. So we get 4. 4 times 13, we get 52. So we subtract, right? So 13 here, 1 into 312, which is what? 24. So 11 times 24, 11 times 24. 4, 1, 4, 4, 1, 4, 2, 1, 2, 2, 1, 2. Here we get 4. Here we get 6. Here we get 2. So we get 264. We get 264 here. So we get 264. So this one is what? Is the value of y, which represents what? The number of children. So then we can say that, therefore, the number of children in the village are what? 264, which is option option C, which is option C, option C, option C. Then the next one, you can use the normal ratio. You have to go and find for what the total number of people in the village, right? So if you find for the total number of people in the village, now you know the total number, then you subtract what? The number of farmers from what? The total number of people in the village. Then we obtain what? 264, right? So which is very, very simple. We can do that, which is very, very simple. So now let's see whether we can solve that and see. So let's see whether we can solve that one too. So now, if you want to solve that, now we have to, they give us what? Number of farmers, 312. So it will go with what? The farmers what? Ratio. So now, it will what? 13 all on what? The total ratio, which is what? 24 times. Now, we have to find for the number of people. So let's say the number of people, let the number of people in the village equal to what? M. So times M, which must be equal to what? 312. Because farmers ratio divided by what? The total ratio times what? The number of people, we will get what? The number of what? Farmers. So we kindly take note of that. The thing is what? Farmers ratio over what? The total ratio times what? The number of people. It will be equal to what? The number of what? Of farmers in the village, right? So now take note of that. That's the same approach we are using here. So now here we multiply. The LCM is 24, so we multiply. How many times? 1, 2. So I get my 24 times my 13 on 24, then times my M equals 312 times what? 24. So this one cancels. So I get my 13 times M equals 312 times my 24. Then I have my 13 times M divided by 13 equals 312 times 24 all on what? 13. So this one cancels. Then now we said that 13 here into itself 1, then to 312. We said it's 24, right? 312. Let's see. We said it's 24, right? Okay. So we said it's 24. Then our 24 times 24. 24 times 24, we obtain what? 576. So our M is what? 500 and let's see, 24 times 24, which is M equals what? 576. Now this one is not the number of children. No, this one is the total number of people in the village. That's the total number of people in the village. Now the question says we should find for what? The number of children in the village. So if you want the number of children in the village, know the number of farmers, then now know the number of people. So you just subtract, right? So children, we are finding for children, which must be equal to what? The people minus what? The farmers, right? So my children equals, my people is 576 minus my farmers is 312, which will produce what? 264. 264. You can do the necessary calculation and see. 2 from 6 we get 4, 1 from 7 we get 6, then 3 from 5 we get 2. So that's that, 264. So this one is what? The number of children, which is what? Option C. Option C. Alright, so we will end our tutorials here. Massa tutorials, we say what? Where mathematics literacy begins. Kindly subscribe to this YouTube channel. Let your brother and your sister or your cousin sit down and learn this BC question, the BC solution for this year's BC, which is 2022, and he or she will never regret for subscribing to this channel. Massa tutorials, we say what? Where mathematics literacy begins. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for liking.